Madeleine disappeared on the 3rd of May 2007 while on holiday with her family in Portugal. Madeleine is now 6 years old. This is how she might look today. We know that there's someone out there who knows who's involved in her disappearance. They may be keeping this secret out of fear, misplaced loyalty, or even love. Keeping this information secret only increases the anguish of Madeleine's family and friends, and increases the risk to other children. If you know who is involved, and you're keeping this secret, remember that it's never too late to do the right thing. We urge anyone who knows anything about the whereabouts of Madeleine, or who has information regarding her disappearance, to do the right thing now, and give that information to their local police.
The Mystery in Our Lady's Eyes. In 1929, Alfonso Marquiu, the official photographer of the old Basilica of Quadalupe in Mexico City, found what seemed to be a clear image of a bearded man reflected in the right eye of the Virgin. He was told to keep complete silence about the discovery, which he did. More than 20 years later, José Carlos Salinas Chavez in 1951 rediscovered the image of what clearly appears to be a bearded man reflected in the right eye of the Virgin, and locates it in the left eye too. Since then, many people had the opportunity to inspect closely the eyes of the Virgin, including 20 ophthalmologists. The first one was in 1956, Dr. Bueno. In what is the first report issued by a physician, he certifies what seems to be the presence of a triple reflection, characteristic of all live human eyes, and states that the resulting images are located exactly where they are supposed to be, according to such effect. That same year, another ophthalmologist, Dr. Lavoignet, examined the eyes of the image with an ophthalmoscope in great detail. He observed the apparent figure in the corneas of both eyes with the location and distortion of a normal human eye, and specially noted a unique appearance of the eyes. They look strangely alive when examined. Many other examinations by ophthalmologists have been done of the eyes of the image on the tilma after these first ones. They all agree with the conclusions mentioned above. In 1979, there was a new and interesting kind of analysis performed by Dr. Jose Aste-Tansman, a PhD who graduated from Cornell University and was working for IBM at the time. He scanned at very high resolution a very good photograph taken from the original of the face of the tilma. After filtering and processing the digitized images of the eye to eliminate noise and enhance them, he reports he made some astonishing discoveries. Not only the human bust was clearly present in both eyes, but another human figure was seen as reflected in the eyes too. Dr. Aste Tonsman published his last studies of the eyes on the tilma in the book The Secret of Her Eyes, with complete details and photographs of his work. Perhaps one of the most interesting aspects of the studies is his conclusion that Our Lady of Guadalupe not only left us her miraculous image as proof of her apparition, but some important messages too. These messages were hidden in the eyes on the image until our times, when new technologies would allow them to be discovered when they are most necessary. Interesting, isn't it? It was Dr. Aste Tonsman who later enlarged the image of the Virgin's eyes by 2,500 times and said he saw not only the aforementioned single figures, but rather images of all the witnesses present when the tilma was shown to the bishop in 1531. He also reported seeing a small family, mother, father, and a group of children in the center of the Virgin's eyes. In response to the eye miracles, Joe Nickel and John Fisher wrote in Skeptical Inquirer that images seen in the Virgin's eyes are the result of the human tendency to form familiar shapes from random patterns, much like psychologists' ink blots, a phenomenon known as religious pareidolia. However, how the same microscopic details came to be present in both of the Virgin's eyes, however, has not been explained. Richard Kuhn, who received the 1938 Nobel Prize for Chemistry, analyzed a sample of the fabric in 1936 and said the tint on the fabric was not from a known material, mineral, vegetable, or animal. In 1979, Philip Cerna Callahan studied the icon with infrared light and stated that portions of the face, hands, robe, and mantle appear to have been painted in one step with no sketches or corrections and no apparent brushstrokes. Things are getting curiouser and curiouser.
And a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. The tilma of Guadalupe is said to be an image of these very words of the Apocalypse chapter 12. On the tilma we see her clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and later we will see she is crowned with the stars of the constellation called the Northern Crown. At the right are the 5 questions she asked Juan Diego at their apparitions of Guadalupe. The fibers normally last only 15 to 25 years, and the tilma is now older than 450 years. The tilma stars match the 1531 winter solstice stars in the sky. Her native name that she gave to them means she who comes flying from the region of light like an eagle of fire. Her name is recorded in the Mayan calendar on the very days that she appeared. Eagle of Fire is 1 Min in their calendar on December 19th, 1531, the first day of her apparitions to Juan Diego. Region of Light is 4 Etznab in their calendar, December 22nd, 1531, the day that tilma appeared. So her name she gave to them is formed by the dates of her apparitions in their calendar. She appeared not only at a certain time in their calendar, but when the stars were in a certain position in the sky. The stars of the winter solstice, December 22nd, 1531, are recorded on her tilma. The constellation of the Northern Crown is on her head. Thus we find the crown of stars as mentioned in Apocalypse chapter 12. Chapter 1 verse 20 says, "The 7 stars which thou sawest in my right hand." Look at these pictures that show how the 7 stars of the Pleiades match exactly to the 7 churches of the Apocalypse. So the eyes of the tilma of Quadalupe contain reflections of images, just like a real human eye, proving that it is not a painting, but a miraculous image. Her eyes speak another message to the native people. On the tilma, her eyes are looking down to the north and west. And note, in their artwork, the left-hand side is north, and the bottom would be west. So her eyes are looking north and west. If the earth is tilted so that its north pole is pointing the same way as north on her tilma, then the winter solstice on earth is in the same position as her eyes on the tilma as she looks down. The tomb of Pakal Votan is at the Temple of Inscription shown here. It has 9 levels, and the tilma also has 9 levels. 9 was an important number to the Maya, but the Mayans would also see the other side going down, and the numbers 1 through 17 added is 153, the exact number of Hail Marys in a 15-decade rosary. Also, if the alpha 1, the center 9, and the omega 17 are multiplied, again we see 153. Look at those numbers. 1, 9, 17, forming 1917, the very year her Fatima apparitions occurred. And what did she say at Fatima? Pray the rosary every day. And the rosary has 153 Hail Marys. Coincidence? Well, there are also coincidentally 153 days between the first Fatima apparition and the last Fatima apparition. And the number 153 is found in the Bible after Jesus resurrects in John chapter 21 verse 10. Jesus saith to them, "Bring hither of the fishes which you have now caught." Simon Peter went up and drew the net to land, full of great fishes, 153. Notice it gives the specific number of fish, 153, the same number as the number of Hail Marys in a rosary. Now let us look at how Fatima relates to Quadalupe. Here are the dates of the Fatima apparitions in the Mayan calendar, and when we use the holographic formula to unify them, the result is 4 flower, found over her womb on the tilma. Her tilma's 4 flower symbol may be pointing to the end of our time, the end of the 5th sun era on December 21st, 2012, and the number of days between the 3rd secret's July 13th and December 21st is 160. Coincidentally, day 160 in the Mayan calendar is 4 Ahau, also known as 4 flower, which on the tilma is here. And on December 26, 1957, Sister Lucia told Father Fuentes, "Look, Father, the Most Holy Virgin, in these last times in which we live, has given a new efficacy to the recitation of the Rosary. There is no problem, I tell you, no matter how difficult it is, that we cannot resolve by the prayer of the Holy Rosary." So Sister Lucia is telling us that we are in the last times, and that praying the Rosary can help us.